Mr. Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I'm having one of those days where I got two of these going on at the same time. In fact, we were talking about nutrition over at Ag and the food bank process and how that's working and coordinating with the SNAP program. But I represent Georgia's 12th district, where roughly 31% of children have limited or uncertain access to adequate nutritious food. These kids come from great families, but because of economic times, you know, they struggle to make ends meet, living paycheck to paycheck. We all know how important child nutrition is, and I thank you for your work in that area. And you know, our school food programs ensure that kids have access to the foods. Dr. Cray, you stated in your testimony that 19.5% of American households with children are food insecure. Can you discuss what being food insecure means and how that impacts children specifically?
Certainly. So food insecurity is a broad term, so it captures both outright hunger and the coping mechanisms that households use to avoid it. So it refers to a lack of food access based on resources. It's a household situation, so it affects everyone in the household, but it can affect them differently. And it's a year-long measure. So we know that food insecurity can be episodic and cyclical, giving other factors that put people at risk. And we know from a lot of studies that food insecure individuals have worse health and educational outcomes than food secure households. It's been well documented. And we know that households suffering from food insecurity are more likely to have children, which is what makes it a larger concern. And we know that when children live in food insecure households, they're more likely to have disrupted eating patterns and diets, and we know the link that we've talked about between good nutrition and children's health development and learning.
Good, thank you. I recently saw a poll that indicated about 93% of parents in Georgia think school food service should serve a fruit and vegetable on every meal. For example, in Burke County, in my district, they are having a lot of success with the Farm to School program, serving locally grown collard greens, one of my personal favorites, along with sweet potatoes, cabbage, broccoli, and other favorites, strawberries, whole grain grits, and of course we're a big blueberry area now. And with, you know, mixing that with whole wheat flour and local products. Do you think programs like Farm to School or Smarter Lunchrooms have been helpful? And how can we grow that program?
Donna Martin, who is the director in your area,
yes,
is a wonderful success story, and we tap her all the time to share her successes and her recipes, yes, with members to inspire them. I think farm to school programs are very important. Many school food authorities have farm to school programs or school garden programs. To Mrs. McAuliffe's point earlier, it's important that kids learn where food comes from. And when kids are actively involved in growing and harvesting food, they're more likely to consume it and generally consume more. One of the programs we haven't touched on today at all is the Fresh Fruit and Vegetable Program, available in schools with high at-risk students. I've got 30 of my schools that participate in that program. It includes a nutrition education component, and we work through that program to teach children where their food comes from, why it's healthy for them, and anecdotally, I know that in schools that participate in that program, they choose and consume more fruits and vegetables with their meal. The unfortunate part is that that program is not available to all school food authorities. So it's a wonderful program that not only provides nutrition education, but again, encourages kids to consume healthier fruits and vegetables.
How can we make that more available? Is there just the rural versus urban?
Well, it currently is only available in areas where at least 50% of the students qualify for free or reduced meals.
I got you.
So making programs like that more accessible, because even a lot of our paid students need to learn where their food comes from. So making it more widely available would support the current requirements.
Good. Yes, Donna did share a lot of this information with me, and I'm very appreciative of her efforts as well. Mr. Chairman, I'll yield back the remainder of my